I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is already November. I don't know if you've noticed, so it means that basically the best month of the year is over, and it is not my fault, so please do not shoot the messenger. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Hi everyone, my name is Ali. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing my October study recap, as you saw in the title. Yes, it is already November, which means that we're coming on to the 10th video in this series, and today we'll talk about everything I have studied for my languages and for my linguistics course over the month of October. Let's go! I have my notes in front of me, so I shall put on my glasses as usual. First of all, let's talk about whether or not I was able to follow my usual study routine during October. And this year in October, I started the month by actually not being at home because I was still in Europe with my husband. We traveled from the end of September until the beginning of October. So it means that basically the first week of October was spent mostly abroad, and I didn't really have a chance to follow my regular study routine. So then I resumed my normal study routine from basically the middle of the month, because the first half of the month was spent traveling and then recovering from the travel. So yeah, my regular study routine really restarted, let's say, from the 15th of October. And then the second disruption I had actually was from Monday the 21st, on which I actually got a small surgery. The surgery went fine, however, I still needed to recover after that, so it did disrupt my study schedule a little bit. All of that was planned in advance. I knew that I had those things coming up all along, so I prepared for it. It didn't disrupt me that much, I want to say, and definitely I didn't stress myself about it. The first goal I had was to write at least 4 essays in Japanese. I am happy to say that I wrote 3 out of 4, however, it means that I failed this goal, which is fine. I still wrote 3, which I'm very happy about. My next goal was to attend 4 lessons online with my Mandarin Chinese tutor on Cafe Talk, and I did manage to complete all 4 lessons, so this goal is completed. My next goal was to start my new linguistics course, which I did, and by the end of the month I had already completed half of it. So this goal is also completed. And then lastly, my last goal was to be consistent with my target language reading practice, specifically for the Halloween reading challenge, which is held on Instagram by my good friend Ko Studygram. And I was able to be consistent with that most of the time, the overwhelming majority of the time, so I'm considering this goal completed as well. So for the month of October, 3 goals completed out of 4, so it's not that bad. I'm very happy with that. For Japanese in October, I did study quite a bit, and just to say a few words on my mindset about Japanese at the moment, I actually have a renewed motivation for Japanese. For some reason, I've got sort of a reignition of my inner flame for this language. I've always loved Japanese and I'm always loving it. I'm surrounded by it all of the time, so it's not exactly as if I could forget it or anything. It's part of my life. However, there are definitely some periods where I consider it much more and it's on my mind a lot more. So nowadays it's definitely a lot more on my mind, but in a positive way. It's very positive at the moment, so that's why I wanted to mention it to you guys. I'm always very happy and very excited to study the language, but there are some times when I'm even more happy, even more motivated to study the language and really master my skills in this language. So in terms of active studying that I did during the month of October, I mostly followed 2 textbooks or exercise books, let's say. The first one of which is my Ryugakusei no Nihongo, the second one in this series, which is this time about essay composition, so the Sakubun Hen. That one I have completed up to chapter 3, so I'm already well advanced in the book, in fact, and it's been so far very interesting. So it's not at all like the first exercise book for reading comprehension, because this time it's really focused on how you should structure your essays, just like the name suggests, but I mean it's going into even more details than what I thought originally, so that's why I'm mentioning it. It's down to, you know, the kind of verbs that you should use to write in formal Japanese, or the grammar structures that you should consider more than others when writing your essays. It's been amazing because this is exactly the kind of thing I was looking for actually. I need to know this stuff, and you know, apart from finding it here in that textbook, I've never found it anywhere so far in my studies, so I'm really happy to be learning about this. The second book I've been using for my active studying of Japanese is Yume Shoronbun Kisohen. So this is a book filled up with essays written in Japanese, and those are example essays that you can follow to just elevate your own essay writing. This book is meant to be actually read by Japanese natives who are about to sit the university entrance exams in Japan, but it is extremely useful to me even though I'm not in this category, because honestly I've been looking for good examples of how an essay should be written in Japanese for that level, for the university entrance level. So this book is basically the answer to all of my questions, and I'm extremely happy to be going through it. At the moment I'm already at about 45% done with it. I've been studying and reviewing a ton of extremely useful vocab and specifically keywords that really I should include in my own essays. This has been absolutely wonderful. So I've been having an absolutely wonderful time with that book. Concerning my reading immersion in Japanese, in October I have read 10 books in Japanese, and I had 2 more that I had almost finished reading by the end of the month. So in total about 12 books, plus my Yomidake Shoronbun and the Japanese parts of my Chugokugo de Choto Ihanashi book. I've been reading a lot, definitely, during the month of October, which is understandable as well because I was really focused on the Halloween reading challenge that was going on Instagram. So it gave me, again, a lot more motivation. A lot of people are doing the challenge on Instagram, so of course we're all like giving each other a lot of motivation. This was easily my best reading month of the year. Regarding my listening practice now in Japanese, I have watched a few things. So apart from my usual business videos, which I've watched a few of actually, I've shared that in all of my vlogs during the month, so you would have seen that. I have also been watching a few TV programs. And then finally, the last thing I've been watching is a new Japanese drama, which I've just found. So it's a TV series which is called The Journalist, Shimbun Kisha. It is quite challenging. I've chosen it specifically for this purpose because I knew that the vocab, the words that would come up in this drama would be more difficult, more challenging, and I was right. They're definitely on the difficult side, more N1 or N1 plus level, which is exactly what I was looking for, so I'm very happy there. As a bonus type of studying, or rather immersion practice, in October I've also been playing Zelda, the new Zelda game on my Switch, as you guys would have seen again during my vlog wins last month. So this has been great because again I've been reviewing a lot of like vocab which I don't really find anywhere else, so I've been having a blast, and at the same time I've been reviewing Japanese vocab. And then the last thing I've been doing is reading aloud practice. Again, I've mentioned this during one of my vlogs. In October I've tried creating this new habit for myself, this new study habit of just reading aloud in Japanese with any kind of material actually. I've been using the Satori Reader app or my Shoronbun book to do that. A little bit every day or every other day, so I'm talking like 5 to 10 minutes only. I haven't been doing it as consistently as I wanted to, but I mean it's still a habit that is in building progress, so I will report on that probably in next month's study recap. So that's it for Japanese. Let's go to Mandarin Chinese. I have been really excited to study Chinese during the month of October. Starting my conversation practice lessons with my tutor, it's definitely been a huge push to my motivation for these past 2 months. And during the month of October, it's when I have seen her the most, my tutor, and the most consistently as well, every single week. So really this has maintained my motivation at a very high level. In terms of active studying, I have mostly used my HSK3 textbook. So at the moment I'm almost halfway through with this textbook. It's quite a big textbook, so it's taking me a while to cover, but at the same time I'm taking my time with it. I'm going through it really at a good pace, I think, in order to allow me to digest all of the information that is contained in the book. And I think it's quite a useful textbook, so that's why I'm taking my time with it as well, because I trust the way it's building up my knowledge. During the month of October, I've done 2 things with the textbook. The first one was to correct the tests that I had actually covered in September, and I got a 72% there. But I had yet to correct myself, so that's exactly what I've done during the month of October. I've understood all of my mistakes and I took the opportunity to just review the whole first part of the textbook and everything I had covered, whether it be grammar, vocab, or any exercise that I found a bit more difficult. So I just, reviewed the whole thing, recapped in a way. The second thing I've done is covering chapter 11 of the book, so I've entered part 5 of the textbook already, and I was really happily surprised there when I reached the exercise part of that chapter in particular, because I noticed that my level definitely improved. I was able to go through the exercise questions much faster and with a much higher accuracy in my answers, and I actually got an almost 100%. So I guess that even though I haven't been using the textbook that much for these past few weeks, the little bit I've been using it, plus all of the immersion practice and my Chinese lessons that I've been doing on the side, outside of my active studying, have really helped me to consolidate my level, and I feel much more comfortable now with my Chinese level. I was extremely happy to notice that. Now for my speaking practice in Chinese during the month of October, so like I mentioned, I got all lessons with my online tutor on Cafe Talk. We've been covering my pronunciation in Chinese, so we're doing the tones, of course, and I've been improving quite a lot and quite fast. So she's telling me that we'll be done with the tones during the month of November at this pace, and we'll be able to start reading aloud practice in Chinese on small texts, and then we'll just improve from there. Apart from practicing my pronunciation in Chinese with my tutor, I've also been practicing on my own using Grace Mandarin's videos. Like I mentioned, I love her videos, and specifically recently I've been really enjoying her pronunciation training videos. So essentially I'm using the same couple of videos pretty much every single week to practice tones on my own and to just train myself, doing it again and again and again and again until it becomes obvious to me and very clear. And finally, I've also been doing some reading aloud practice in Chinese on my own, using my Chugoku de Choto Ihanashi book. Actually, talking about that, let's talk about my reading immersion practice in Chinese in October. I have mostly read my Chugoku de Choto Ihanashi book. I've read about 3 stories, and at the moment I'm almost done with that book. I'm at about 85% completion already. So I'm definitely going to finish it before the end of the year. I enjoyed the stories that I read during the month of October, however they were quite sad. I've shared that during the month in my vlogs, so you would have heard me talk about that. And finally, for Chinese, my listening immersion practice has been also going very well. I have now a newly found routine going through Vicky Soup's vlogs, which I've been enjoying a lot, really. And basically what I do is that I download them on my YouTube app directly on my iPad, so that I can take my iPad to the gym and actually watch her vlogs at the gym while I'm on the treadmill and while I am exercising exercising, which means that I have absolutely no distractions because essentially I'm exercising, but my eyes and my mind are focused entirely on the vlogs. So I'm really able to get like the best kind of listening immersion practice in Chinese, and I really want to keep this routine up until the end of the year and then on to next year, because it's been absolutely amazing, absolutely great. Now on to my linguistics studying. I am in love with the new course I chose for the month of October. I started it from October 14th, and it is an introduction to social linguistics, accents, attitudes, and identity. This course is offered by the University of York on the Future Learn platform, and at the moment I am at a 51% completion rate. The first 2 weeks of the course have been really amazing. I've loved it so much that actually I got a 94% score at the end of week 2 test right before the month of October ended, so I was super happy with that. And really, I've been having so much fun learning about sociolinguistics in this kind of detail, because this is all stuff that I've been wondering about, asking myself about, and finally being able to learn about it properly, you know, following a proper structure and with all of the insights that I wanted to get. I am like the happiest. You guys have no idea. So far, what I've been learning during week 1 and week 2 of this course is everything related to accents. So what they are, how they differ, how they are perceived by people, how they're linked to our identity as well. So identity is a big part of this course. So really the main question is basically what is the link between the language we use, the languages we use, and how we form our identity. As you can see, it's quite a deep subject, but at the same time it is absolutely fascinating. I've also learned about basically all of the methods that researchers, sociolinguistics researchers, use to collect data on languages and language variations and variants. And honestly, this also has been amazing because again, I was asking myself how to collect data in this field, and now I have answers to all of my questions. I am becoming more and more of an expert on the topic, which is exactly what I wanted. So once again, I think I found a perfect match with this course in particular. Alright guys, and on that note, that will be it for today's video. It was a quick study recap. I hope that it gave you lots of motivation to track your own studies, whether it be language study or any other type of study, in fact. As usual, please share with me in the comments below what you have been up to in October with your studying. And as for me, I will see you in my next video on the channel. Bye bye! Matane!
Simple minds. I guess we'll take it one